Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Tam.
And we're Loke Battlemats. And we're here for Tabletop Gaming Live's virtual spring showcase to have a look at some of our new and upcoming products.
Now, we know it's been a hell of a year and we've really been enjoying our hobby through these difficult times. Here at Loki, we make terrain solutions for tabletop role-playing games, and we're best known for our books. So, of course, one of the things we're going to be looking at today is the Wilderness Books of Battlemats, which is a modular book set of outdoor encounter locations for fantasy role-playing games such as Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons. We have 2 existing sets out, which you may already be aware of, so this is the 3rd set in our trilogy. We'll also have a look at some of our new lines as well. The Box of Adventure is a combination of tabletop terrain in the form of mats, which are kind of modular, and you can line them up to create larger areas. It also has a lot of tokens in for monsters, so you can include your baddies in those ones as well. And on the end there, our immersive GM screen is also a new product for us, which we're going to be having a look at as well. So, without further ado, shall we get these things on the table? We'll have a closer look.
Let's have a look. Great.
So here's a closer look at the artwork on our immersive GM screen. Now this is double-sided artwork, so on this first side we are looking at the fantasy outdoor wilderness artwork, which will be suitable for any encounter outdoors on fantasy terrain, and it really helps immerse the encounter in the setting that you're working with. But we also have a fantasy cityscape on the alternative side as well, which means if your encounter is in a dungeon, a built-up fantasy area, or even just a trip to the shops, then this screen will really help the party to envisage exactly where they are. Now we've had a close look at the artwork, we can put this screen on the table and have a little bit of a look at it in action alongside our books, so you can see what we mean when we say immerse.
Right, so we're going to be having a look at Loki's immersive GM screen. And here it is. As you can see, this is a long and low GM screen, which means that even though I'm not particularly tall, I have no trouble seeing over the top of it. And for me, that's the first thing about any GM screen. I need to be able to see what's going on. Now, what is special about this screen is that it's immersive. It's also system agnostic. It'll work with obviously any fantasy tabletop role-playing game maps because it has artwork on both sides. So we'll start off with the wilderness side of this screen. And we've designed this with a wonderful artist because we want to expand the adventure that's happening on the battle map right through into the setting. So this will help your players immerse themselves. And by providing this wonderful setting, it really pulls you in. So when all the action's happening on the map here, the players will also be able to see in the background setting exactly what's going on and go from there. And the other nice thing about this is obviously it being a screen, it gives you as the game master that privacy that you need for your notes, for your dice rolls. All that can happen in the privacy of the screen so that you have some break from your players. They can't always see what's going on. We have laminated this, which means it is really durable as well. It is quite clean, but to be honest, I struggle to write with a white clean marker. It's small enough to make it of any use to write on the screen, but you could do if you wanted to. Also, post-it notes, any sort of sticky notes will go on there without damaging the screen as well. So this is the immersive setting you can see. So it pulls through from our jungle maps here right through into this beautiful setting. And I'm just going to pause the video a second while I get it set up with our dungeon books so you can see what it looks like for the town setting. Right, so I'm using the Great Hall maps from our dungeon books to show you what this immersive screen looks like on the other side, and this is our more urban setting. So as you can see, it's a beautiful fantasy cityscape. It's got some it really pops out, but it helps you when your players are there in the hall, they're having their adventure, the encounter may turn to combat, it may be more of an interaction, and that they can see that outside the hall they are in this beautiful fantasy cityscape setting. And again, this will provide you with all the privacy you need to keep your notes and dice rolls away from the players. And as you can see, you will have no trouble reaching and seeing the action from here. It's a really nice addition to any fantasy game, and the reason we wanted to make it system agnostic is we know there's a lot of really beautiful DM and GM screens out there already, but they tend to be very specific for certain settings or even modules, and we wanted something which will work for any scenario, so you don't really have to worry about it not being quite appropriate. And obviously you can keep in your notes all the information that you need to run the session. So This is Loki's immersive GM screen. This has been part of the Wilderness Kickstarter, which is just closed. We're recording this again in March 2021, and we are looking to produce this once we fill the Kickstarter and get it into shops for end of 2021 or potentially start of 2022, depending on how things go. So thank you very much. This has been our GM screen. But of course, we've got more products to talk about. So the next thing we're going to be having a look at is the box of adventure. So bear with me while I set the table up. Right, so that brings us on to our box of adventure. And this, as you can see, is a box. We made it look like a book because, well, we like books. And this is a very exciting new product for us because it combines maps and terrain with tokens. So as you can see, this is a really good size, sturdy box. It will fit in your bag and on your shelf, and it's a great way to store all your items. So, having a look at the inside, what we have is we have an index of all the maps that are in the box. The box itself, so if I just, we'll come back to this in a moment. You can see we've made the box is actually a map in itself, so you can use this as a dice tray or even a bit of extra area. And we also have some tokens, so I'll put this to one side for a second. There we go. And we'll have a closer look at what's in the box. Now, we have got quite a few of these maps, and these are fold out double-sided maps, which again, as you can see, these will be suitable for any fancy tabletop encounter. So Dungeons & Dragons Pathfinder, you've got your 1-inch grid on here, which is 5 foot to the inch, and lots of different variations. So as you can see here, you have a classic bridge over a river, and it's in the middle of a forest as well, so you can see the trees, so you can do your line of sight and all your tactical manoeuvring as well. And on the back of this, we have some dungeon design, and this is the theme for this box, is you'll have lots of different maps which are double-sided, and these are all modular. So what we're going to do in a moment is show you a graphic of how everything fits together, so you can see exactly which maps you get. We also have obviously some cave systems. We know a lot of action happens in caves in our adventures, and also obviously some more interesting ruined terrain as well. There's lots and lots and lots of area here, and because these are all modular, it means essentially that you can use each page as an individual map. So here we have, it could be a farm or some outbuildings, but each of these is usable individually as a single page, or you can line up as many as you like, or as many as you need, or as many as your space allows, to create much larger encounter areas should you so wish. A campsite, lots and lots of different options, and then we also have lots of token options as well. So we have here, this is our tavern roof, and as you can see on the other side we have our tavern. So you can use this also with existing maps as well. This can lie on the map or on your table, and as your players approach you can reveal what's on the other side of this. We also have some other buildings, again the roofs. On the other side you have the interiors, and these ones you can keep this as a little cluster, or you can cut these out and place them separately. These are cut out tokens to give you lots of flexibility, and again we have some different terrain options here, and we'll show some of these on the graphic as well. And a cave entrance, and the upstairs of our tavern too. And the idea here really is just to give you more options. Our hobby has seen a lot of increase in popularity in recent years. There's a lot out there in terms of terrain and accessories which is available, and we just wanted to put something together which is a bit of everything. This set will be absolutely ideal if you're just starting out and you're not quite sure what you need, because there's a bit of everything in here, and this will cover you for many different encounter scenarios and different enemies, which brings me on to our other tokens. But this set being modular, it works with all our other books as well, and this will grow as you do, so it will be just as useful with miniatures and with 3D printed terrain. And if you want to put height on these maps, they lay flat, so of course you can. So there's lots and lots you can do here, and of course everything is wipe clean, so customizable, which means it can be used for many different encounters. And as well as all these maps, we have our monster tokens here. And again, we'll show you some graphics separately, but these are going to cut out, double-sided. And as you have some humanoid baddies and monsters and trolls on this one, wolves and some more bandits. We've got a lovely 3-headed dragon there, a cyclops on the back. And the other token things we have, one of these has obviously died, so you can make a monster graveyard. It's an amazing amount of value you get in this box. This is over 300 of these cutout tokens we've put in here, and 24 of the maps. So you've got a lot of play area, a lot of options for you, and that's really what we wanted to do. And of course, everything stores and goes back in the box for storage and easy transportation. It's a wonderful set. We're really pleased with how it's come out, and we can't wait to see what people think. And our last product that we're going to be having a look at today is the Wilderness Books of Battlemats. This is our prototype, so you're some of the first people to see this outside of our Kickstarter. This is a modular book set of tabletop role-playing maps for outdoor encounters. And the reason it's modular is because we want to stay with our book format, which is really handy because, as you can see, it's handy. It fits on a bookshelf, fits in a bag if you travel. But we wanted to make our maps as big as possible. So by making them modular and making these 2-foot line up, we can create up to 2-foot by 2-foot play areas out of these rather handy books. So, as you can see, these books are hardback, and they are each 1-foot by 1-foot each. And inside here we have got our usual grid, which is a 1-inch grid, and all these pages are laminated and thus completely wipe clean. We've got a big range of lots and lots of different areas in these books, so grasslands, valleys, lakes, rivers, through to deserts, wooded areas, snow, mountains, and also sea, coves, caves, marshland. Really lots and lots and lots of different options for tabletop terrain. These are fantasy books, so again, system agnostic, but games like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, absolutely ideal. And just to show you this one of our island maps, you can see the 1-inch grid depicts 5 feet, so you've got lots of different options here for your party to move around. Obviously there'll be an X on this map because X does mark the spot, and obviously there'll be some pirates involved for encounters because those are the rules. But our maps, as you can see, are tactical, so you've got lots of different options here for things that you can involve in your encounters and your adventure, where you land your ship, how you explore the terrain, where the monsters come from, and it's a really highly detailed, highly coloured adventure map. So this is a good opportunity just to have a closer look at what maps are in the Wilderness Books of Battlemats. This is a wilderness set, so these are all outdoor themes, and this grass page gives us a really good look at the 1-inch grid that's on all the maps, and they're also wiped clean, so on maps like this you can get out a dry white marker or some extra terrain and really build your encounter area the way you need it to be, so it's fully customizable to do whatever you need to do with an encounter. It also means you can use the map over and over again. So for this grass map, we've already put some feet on it, so you have maybe bushes or small trees, some areas of flowers, and some level changes, so your encounters here can really focus on what can be done from height and around and where the lines of sight might be, so it makes the whole thing a lot more interesting for the players and for the GM, so you can run lots of different encounters here. Now this is our canyons maps, and this is a good one to look at the standard entry exit points that we put on our maps. It means that you can line these maps up in lots of different ways. So here we have the square, you can also make a very long map that lines up, and even a Z formation, so that you can keep the party moving in and out of these canyons in lots of different ways as well. This keeps things new and fresh. Our river map here gives you lots of different options for different crossings of the waterways, and also we've given a nice lake feature down the bottom right, which obviously is a deeper area of water, so you could have a lot of bigger monsters lurking in there, or the party could be needing to dive in to find something at the bottom of that lake, so again, entirely up to you. And again, this is one of our planar maps for desert, and you can get your pen out here that you can put pyramids in here, lost catacombs, ways down into the sands. It's really interesting what you can do with
with a planar map, because again it adds to the reusability of the set, because this is the map you can use for any desert encounter or even a large beach as well, so lots of different options there. This is the sand canyons, and again with these standard entry exit points seen on this map, you can create lots of different sizes and shaped maps with these books, which just makes it again a more reusable product, so that you can keep coming back to this with lots of different desert encounters and make it new and fresh each time. Our forest maps, as you can see here, are tactical maps. So whereas your party will be on the forest floor, we've made sure you've got a very clear view of it, so you can see line of sight, which trees are blocking which views, and it gives the party a lot more options for what to hide behind as they work their way through the forest. We've put a bit of a path in, some more open areas, a fallen log there. So again, just some features that you can maybe include in your story, or they could just be there for scenic purposes. But obviously every encounter you run through this forest, you'll be able to see exactly what's going on. And again, the maps can be customized using dry white markers so that they can be used over and over again. And because these maps cover all the different biomes that you might need for outdoor fantasy encounters for games like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, and of course many more, there's a lot of snow maps as well. This is sort of a mountain pass, so there'll be lots of different height changes here, lots of crevasses that you'll be able to play around with, lots of peril the party can get themselves into. And again, on the planar maps, this is just wherever encounter that you're running on a frozen sort of terrain, you can use these maps to customize and make exactly what you need them to be. And we've also put in a little bit of suggestion of a cave on the bottom there, and some frozen Christmas trees perhaps, so that you can incorporate these into your encounters as well. We've also been sure to include lots of coastline, so that our sea maps can be used in lots of different areas. This again, it gives you a different option. This map, you can see there's some shifting ice there. There could be some icebergs coming on the terrain, maybe wouldn't be as stable as the land would be, and that could be a factor in the encounters. And it would also prevent any ships or landing craft getting too close to the shore. And this shoreline is back into the more temperate grassline feel of that maps. And we've put a abandoned watchtower up on the cliff there as well. Again, that map will combine the other grassland maps, as will the coastline, so you can build lots and lots of different encounter areas and combinations out of these books by lining up different maps in different ways. We've also included some cave maps, and again you'll see these will line up with the grassland maps or the woodland maps, give you lots of different approaches to the caves and lots of different scenarios for you finding your way in. We've also given you some larger spaces inside the caves themselves, so should your party encounter something a little larger in there, that would also be possible as well. This is our marshland map, and as you can see, there's lots of dead trees there, lots of waterways, various different depths of water to be playing around with. There's lots of perilous opportunities there for the games master to really think about where the monsters might be coming from, what the party need to do to find their way safely through that map. And this again is a bit of a happier map, if you will. It's more of a moorland area, lots of heather in there, so it's a very bright daytime map, but again lots of level changes, different areas, different lines of sight, again just giving lots of different options for encounters, and if you're running a game, lots of different ideas for how that encounter might go. And again, all these maps are fully wipe clean with a dry white marker, so they can be customized over and over again, so that you can reuse these maps many times for many different encounters. As you can see on this map, there's two different ways you could potentially cross the canyon, and a suggestion of a cave opening on one of the maps as well, should it be needed. These are island maps. We were having a closer look at our larger island just a second ago, and as you can see, we've paired this up with a coral bay sort of underwater map, so should your party be diving for treasure, they'll have a map to do that on as well. And again, lots of different island options, and those will match up with our sea maps or even our coastal maps, giving you lots of options for what areas to create. A little perilous filled volcano map here, some lava. Obviously the party do not want to be caught in any of those lava canyons on the way through there, and there could even be some suggestion that the map, there might be some floor areas they might want to avoid as well, so that would be a very fun one to play through. We've gone for a sprawling ruined dungeon map here, so you can see you have a lower flooded area, got lots of broken terrain, lots of vegetation in here, lots of different options, and again that will line up with lots of different maps, and that one in particular will work well with our existing dungeon books of Battlemats as well. And the last map in the books is our jungle pages. Again, this is one of the maps that really shows through the modularity of the books and what you can do with them. And that's something we're going to have a closer look at in a second as we have a look at all the different ways and combinations you can use these maps in your games.
So we were talking about the modularity of these maps, and we'll talk about what that means and why it's such an interesting concept. So as you can see on this jungle map, we have got standard entry exit points on the map, which means that you can use this page as it is by itself. You can open this page up, so you can use these two pages together, or you can align it with the other book to create a 2-foot by 2-foot map where you can flow seamlessly across the pages. And this just means that it makes it easy for you as the game master or DM to use whichever bit of the map suits your adventure. So you don't have to have a huge table space. You can just use the pages individually for random encounters, and bish bash bosh, you're ready to go. Any map that you need for any outdoor encounter will be at your fingertips in the Wilderness Books of Battlemats. Or should you wish to build a much larger encounter with bigger baddies and get the big bases out, you can use both books together to create the larger areas and make the encounters more involved. And again, with these books, we cover all the different biomes that you could need for your fancy roleplay adventure in two really handy books which fit on your shelf and in your bag and travel with you. So we have been looking at the Wilderness Books of Battlemats by Loke Battlemats, and this is a Kickstarter which is just closed, so we'll be fulfilling later this year, and we hope to have this in stores at the end of 2021. Thank you very much.
So that's been a quick look at the new products and the prototypes for upcoming products.
But we have got some more plans, but we haven't got any prototypes to show you. So we thought we'd take a few minutes now just to talk about some things which are a bit, further forwards for us. And firstly, we're going to start, I think, with the Wilderness set, because as you know, we've just closed the Kickstarter for this, but the Kickstarter had more product on it than just these two Wilderness books.
Absolutely. So I think very much like our Dungeon and Towns and Taverns set, the first one to look at is probably the Little Book.
Now, I'm going to show you the Towns and Taverns Little Book, which goes with this set, because it'll give you the idea. Essentially, the Little Book is a much smaller version with maps inside which complement the maps in the larger book set. So obviously for Towns and Taverns, well, we always nicknamed it Pocket Pubs, didn't we? It's a collection of additional rooms, alleyways, and perilous situations that you can add on to the Towns and Towns Battlemats, and in very much the same vein you'll have one with the Wilderness. So this will be basically, it'll be peril, won't it, Matt? Because you're in the middle of doing the designs now.
Yeah, it's perils and points of interest. So we've got things like underwater shipwrecks, standing stones, large rock outcrops, some ruins. All manner of things.
Yes, essentially, it's, as you can see, it's just the perfect size that you, as the GM, when you're running the game, if you want to surprise your players, it's almost like a fog of war, really. You can get out this little book and you can add it on to the maps that you're already using, and thus you can create a perilous situation, whereas moments before there was just a plain ravine. So you can really surprise your players. So when you're planning and running an encounter, they can't always see exactly what's going to be happening.
Yeah, surprising players, I think, is a good thing.
Yeah, it gives you more options as a GM, because also the other thing this is very good for, and this is just obviously a cellar, which goes with the Towns and Taverns, but for this one it'll be things like caves, I think sunken caves as well.
Yeah, we have a tidal cave in the design mix.
Yes, but this will be ideal for random encounters. So if your encounter isn't going to take up too much space, you haven't got hundreds of monsters running around, you can use this within seconds at your fingertips. You have a book for just a quick random encounter, and this being the size it is, this will easily fit. I think it even fits in Matt's pocket. It's ideal for carrying around, and it's just such a handy thing to have. Matt, what was your favourite design from the Little Book?
For the new one, I think one of the most used ones is going to be a campsite. So we're going to put a wilderness campsite in as one of the designs. So if you're rolling random encounters for your wilderness journeys, have them go and watch. Don't set out a full battle map, and then surprise, surprise, something has happened, then you can quickly find out what's going on and put them into that camp and put that camp next to one of the big book pages. So, yeah,
Perfect.
get a full encounter.
And obviously perfect for D&D nap time.
Absolutely.
So that's the little book, and that will, like the Wilderness Battlemat book set, that will be coming out end of 2021, probably start of 2022 after we've filled that Kickstarter. Now, of course, one of the other things that we do with our Kickstarters is we do add-on scenery.
So these are static clings as opposed to normal stickers. So they're durable and can be used on any laminated surface. In particular, obviously, we would recommend the books.
Yeah, I mean, these work then, but they're basic window stickers. So any smooth surface, these will stick on. And this is our War and Siege set. We will be doing a wilderness specific set. So think lots of treetops, lots of fallen logs, lots of ravines, water features that can be added to not just the wilderness books or battle mats, but indeed any battle map. So as the game master, it means that you can customize any map for any encounter really in seconds. And because they're static clings, they never lose their stick. You can use these as many times as you like, over and over again, and they pop on, pop off in moments, which does make life a lot easier.
Yeah, and they're just as easy to transport as the books, I find.
Yes, they come on these handy sheets in this bag, and we tend to store ours in here, or even if you're setting up ahead of time, you can set up on the maps you're going to be using, and they happily stay in the book for as long as you need them to. And the wilderness ones, again, will be used to, again, customise a map. So we want these to be as reusable and as useful as possible for people. So Matt, when he does the designs, really keeps in mind that reusability.
Yeah, and I think one of the key things with our decal packs is they are the same scale, the same palettes, they're drawn by us as well, essentially, so they all match.
Drawn by us, drawn by Matt.
Drawn by me.
In actual fact. So yes, in terms of our books, it's entirely complementary, but it just gives you, again, more and more options for reusing the maps and for making these maps personal to you and how they work. And those, in terms of the Kickstarter for the Wilderness, that would be the big book set, the decals, and the Wilderness Little Book are all coming out end of 2021, start of 2022. We also have a few new things in that Kickstarter. We've already talked about our immersive screen, which is, even we think it's really beautiful. The artwork is just stunning. We also have a hardback book coming out as part of that. We're not ready to show you a prototype of that just yet, but that's a new thing for us, and that is Untold Encounters of the Random Kind.
Which is going to be a book with over 1,000 encounters. And they're not just single lines, lots of them are a couple of paragraphs. And that's encounters divided into 3 distinct settings. So strangely enough, dungeon,
Yes,
towns and wilderness.
Yes, if you've been following our Kickstarters, then you'll know that we've been producing random encounters to go with these books for the dungeon, towns and taverns, and the wilderness. And this will be an amalgamation of all those with some new material. So we'll create some example map areas and lay them out as encounters for you. We'll do lots of random tables as well. But essentially, this is just to have a little bit of fun and find some random encounters.
Yeah. Encounters are fun, I think.
No, absolutely. We've had a lot of fun writing, amalgamating it, and we really hope that people like it as much as we do. But like I say, we're not ready to show a prototype of that yet, so keep watching our social media and YouTube channel for when we are ready to start sharing on that one. And besides that, I think we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing. We really, really enjoy being able to provide terrain solutions for tabletop role playing. We're gamers ourselves. Matt's been DMing for decades. We use all our products ourselves. We really like the interaction we have with this community. It's really friendly. We've got such great conversations going on. Matt live draws all our maps Monday nights on our Twitch channel, and we have such great chats with all the people when we're doing that, about ideas for maps and how people use them. And it's really nice, especially because we can't get to shows at the moment. It's nice to have that interaction with the community, and we do miss it when we can't come out and see you guys live at shows. And hopefully this year will be the year that we can all get back together again.
Yeah, much as these virtual events are great, it'll be nice to be there in person again.
I think that really brings us to the end. We've given you a bit of insight into what we've got coming up. We've had some sneak peeks. There'll be more things we announce coming through the year, obviously, but we hope to be able to see you soon in person, I think is the main thing we want to say today.
Yeah, I think so.
So this is Matt and Sam from Loke Battlemats saying thank you very much. And
Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon.
Cheers. To be there in person again.
I think that really brings us to the end. We've given you a bit of insight into what we've got coming up. We've had some sneak peeks. There'll be more things we announce coming through the year, obviously, but we hope to be able to see you soon in person, I think is the main thing we want to say today.
Yeah, I think so.
So this is Matt and Sam from Loke Battlemats saying thank you very much. And
Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon.
Cheers.